True Beauties. As you can see, it's tutorial time, and this is a remake of a look I did a couple of years ago for St. Patty's Day, and I love it because it was so minimalistic, but it had so much color, and it gave me just the right amount of everything. I've never recreated this look before, and today I decided to do it because, I love the look, and I wanted to take it up a notch. As you can see, I'm still working on my precision lines, but if you want to stick around to see how I achieved it, we're going to jump right into it. Welcome back, True Beauties. As you can see, my brows are already set up. I went in with my pencil by WetNWild, the dark brown one, and I'm following that with a little bit of concealer. That is Maybeline FitMe in the color 30 Honey. I'm taking a large fluffy brush and blending all the concealer out, and we're going to use it as our eyeshadow base. The reason why I'm using a fluffy brush is to make sure that everything is dispersed evenly and without taking too much of a risk. I'm just using the brush because it's just one of my favorite tools. Now, of course, we have a rule here on this channel. Once it's wet, it has to set. So we're setting everything with a translucent layer of shadow, and that is from the BUXOM palette. Everything labeled will be in the description box below. I'm just taking that just to make sure that everything doesn't crease because we put a lot of work in blending everything out evenly. Following that, I'm using that same fluffy brush. Yes, I know, very large blending brush, and we're going in with the Quiet palette by Juvia's Place, and that is in Honey as well. I'm using that golden color, and I'm going to use the outer third of my eye and put most of the color, because when you pick up color on a brush, the most of the color, we use it just to give more depth to the eye. So you got to be careful of placement. So I'm just used to placing more color on the outer third. If you're used to doing it on the inner third, you can do it whatever. Just make sure, because we're using it as a transition in this look, not to be too heavy-handed. Following that, we're going in with the Shade to Light palette by Blondie, and I'm going to take an angle brush with that black shadow, and I'm going to mark out where I want the shape of my eye. Basically, this is somewhat of a cut crease. You could definitely do this as a regular cut crease look, but because I know I'm just going in, basically making sure everything is basically like a negative space, I've already done the work, kind of what I want on my lid. So that's why I just did it this way versus just doing it the regular cut crease way. I basically did most of the work of what I'm going to do with my lid. I'm just taking, again, an angle brush, marking out the shape of my eye and what I want, and focusing on making sure that everything is nice, even, and crisp. You can definitely go in with small strokes. You can do this with a liner brush if you feel like it's less hassle for you, but I'm going in and just making sure that everything is nice and even. After that, we're going to take a denser fluffy blending brush. It's a smaller brush, it's a denser brush, and kind of concentrate that color more on the outer third where we disperse a lot of that color, just to make sure that everything is well blended. We don't want any harsh lines really, so we're going to focus in on that and just blend. We're going with a windshield motion, going back and forth, and a circular motion if need be, going back and forth, concentrating where we put that line of demarcation, and fluff that or blend that out so we don't have a harsh line. And with blending, you're going to overlap. So what we did with the Honey, that large blending brush, we're going to take that and we're going to go right on top of it to blend it out, because we don't want harsh lines. We want it to be diffused, as blended as possible, okay? Following that, we're going in with a stencil star. I didn't trust my hands with this particular look, and that is the second star shape. I went in with a larger one, but it was too much coverage on my lid, and I kind of wanted to keep it simple. And I'm going in with the Glam Vice Tropical Treasure palette. I'm using the silver from that palette, and I'm going to basically just trace the outside just to give me a nice, even, crisp shape. I'm using a liner brush. You can definitely find those online, either at the TikTok shop, Temu, Shein, or you can go into your local craft store, and maybe go for Hobby Lobby or Michaels. Michaels is one of my favorites, and probably get a liner brush there. If not, you can definitely, again, find it on some of the suggested stores or sites that I kind of suggested earlier. I'm just going in, again, just making sure that we connect the lines as much as possible. I'm going in with the electric palette. I'm going to use Freak and Thrash from that palette. and they're as vibrant as what you see in the video, not in the picture. I'm just showing you the names on there, and I'm just going to pack in that color just to give me the more vibrant or popper color that we're looking for this particular look. I'm going to dab over the stars, pack in that color as much as possible, and we're going to blend the two colors together, more so in the center of my face. And as you can see, we have no star on the other side. So what I'm doing here is making sure that the liner or the line that we created earlier, the negative space, is a little bit sharper. So this is a trick that I use. I take a liner, any liquid liner, matte liquid liner, whatever you prefer to use. I'm taking that and kind of sharpening the shape, making sure that everything is nice, even, and crisp. And I'm just making sure that what I created is as sharp and neat as possible. Please be careful to use small strokes with this, because again, we don't want to mess up. But if you do, because makeup is the thing that you can't get messy with, just don't be afraid to go back and clean it up. I'm taking the liquid from the liner, what we used, and darkening or deepening the shadow of what we put down earlier with the brush that we used from earlier, blending everything out so it blends in with what we already presently have. Does that make sense? So just going in to sharpen, clean up whatever is necessary, and blend it out just to deepen what we already pretty much put down. And you could do, again, if you have a pen, if you have, or you don't want to do that, you want to kind of carve it out with maybe a Vaseline or a makeup remover just to give you that sharp line. However you choose to do it, this is just what method I'm using in this particular video. As you can see on this side, it kind of makes sense on how we did it, because I'm making the shape of my eye on both sides a little bit more symmetrical. If you've paid attention to how you do your eyes or have done cut creases before, you know one of your eyes is more of a basketball shape and the other one is more of a football shape. When you do stuff like this with negative space or have done cut creases a lot, you kind of tend to make them a little bit more even, so you kind of cut it close. Following that, you still see we have no star, right? We're going in with my favorite primer, that is the Hydro Grip by E.L.F. Love that primer. And I'm going in with a blend of foundation. I'm using, this is also by Maybeline, the FitMe Matte collection in 330 and 322. Both of those will be in the description box below. I love blending those together because they give me the complexion I want, just a nice, fresh, even skin complexion. When I mix those two together, I don't have too much yellow, too much orange. Everything cancels out as need be. I'm blending that with a dense foundation brush over my face, and then I'm following that with a little bit of concealer. I'm using a fair concealer and the concealer that we used from earlier by Maybelline as well, also FitMe in the shade of 30. Blending those two together to give me a lighter shade, just to focus in on more of the eyeshadow look and still give me a highlighted look, because we're using a lot of cool tones in this particular look. I kind of want everything to be more focused on the center of the face, so I tend to use lighter shades of concealer when I do looks like this, so I can make sure that everything is more centered towards the face. And of course, we follow that after blending and mixing with more blending and mixing with a beauty blender, making sure that everything is evenly dispersed throughout the face. Once we wet, we have to set. I'm following that with Huda Beauty and Blondie by their collection. Love that powder. That setting powder is so awesome. It is very finely ground. Of course, we're going to add a little bit more color back to the face because, again, we're using a lot of cool tones. Going in with another Juvia's Place palette that is Zulu, and we're going to use that brown shadow, making sure that we add warmth to this look, add a little bit flesh, as you can say, back to this look. I'm using that more as a bronzer versus a contour. Just, again, add warmth back to the face, making sure that the face is lively. I want everything to complement each other. So, of course, we're using cool tones. I want to kind of cool it or warm it up for the rest of the face because I want it to be more of a wearable look. That's kind of how I flow on this channel. I do more wearable looks. Even though it might be a little eccentric, I still want it to be where you can wear it and feel comfortable in your own skin. And as you can see here, I'm using a little bit more bronzer on that side. You can see I'm telling on myself. And what happens with that, if I feel like I've done too much, I go in with the foundation brush and blend everything out to make it even and take away just a little bit. Again, we just wanted to blend to make it look even and symmetrical and wearable. After that, do not go in with a naked brush to remove any powder. So we're going to take our finishing powder, remove what we've done, and finally we finish with the other star. So of course what we did on one side, we're going to do on this side. Going to trace basically the outline or the outside of the stencil and making sure that everything is nice and evenly sharp. Going back in to define the lines later and connect everything to the look. I'm using a little bit of green face paint for the liner of this look. I wanted everything to kind of, again, complement each other. And I love how it came out. Normally I would use a black, or when I originally did it, I used black, but the green just spoke to me today and I'm glad I did it. And if you know me, you know I love to double highlight. I'm going in with a chrome powder from Style. You can find them on Instagram, and I'm using another Kat Von D product that is Alchemist. And I love it because both of them are a green tone. So I'm going in with a chrome powder first. You can use a fan brush, but because it's so small, I chose to use my finger and just kind of smear it on. Make sure that everything is nice and blended. Don't mush it too much into the skin, but just to give me a nice even distribution of the color. Following that, I'm going in with the Alchemist because it's more of a glitter tone, and as you can see, it just adds the right amount of glitter. Highlight both sides of the cheeks, heights of the cheeks, and the bridge of my nose, the tip of my nose, and in between, just to give me a little bit more sparkle for the look. Everything just complements so well with this look. I love it. Today, my lashes did not give me trouble. I'm so happy about that because I don't know what happened this last round. The last look I did, child, it looked like my lashes was just giving me the blues. And of course, after everything is complement and set, we're going to complement that look with a rose tone lipstick, and I'm finishing that off, of course, with a liner and lip gloss combo. And this is the final look. I love how it came out. I feel on the other side, my liners could have came out a little bit better. I didn't particularly care that day because I knew it was practice, but still, go back and do your best. But I love how this came out. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Leave comments in the section if you want to see more like this, and I'll see you babies later. Bye.